Well, hello, fiends, friends, and familiars. My name is Matt Orozco, and I'm here with Macabre Daily, and I am so happy to be joined by two folks. One who needs no introduction, Mr. Corey Feldman, and also another who should not need an introduction, Mr. Eugenio Mira. Gentlemen, nice to be joined with you today. How are you?
Good, good. We're working on that, by the way. We're making sure that from this point forward, no more introductions will be made of Eugenio.
That's so nice.
Eugenio Mira. And Eugenio
Exactly.
Mira is a name for all households to remember.
Oh my
The
God.
great director, the legend of the macabre and unique twisted horror film, The Birthday, is Eugenio Mira.
It's better than my manager and my agent.
I know. I was going to
That's
say
crazy.
you've got great representation there, Eugenio. So,
Yeah.
gentlemen, congratulations to you both on now having the 20th anniversary of the birthday and having it finally see a much larger release than just a handful of film festivals. And I'm curious, how did the endorsement from different folks in the horror community, such as Jordan Peele and Elijah Wood and so forth, how did that come about, and how did that get back to you both?
Okay, well, let's slow it down here because there seems to be already, see how these things work. There's already a misconception and an untruth or a fake news or a rumor or whatever you want to call it going around about this. And I don't know who propagated it, but the truth of the matter is all of these resources came from various places. It's not like everybody just went and discovered this wild, crazy black market version of the birthday that appeared on YouTube, and that's how everybody discovered it. And now there's this great love for this film. Not at all like that. In fact, we don't know that any of those people ever saw a YouTube copy of the film. What we know is that each individual saw it for various reasons. Elijah became a fan of the film because he was friends with Eugenio because they did a great movie together called Grand Piano. And when they made this great movie, they obviously spent a lot of time talking about the birthday because there's many similarities. You can definitely see it as kind of a companion film almost in a way. It's like a sister piece because there is a connective tissue through the musicality and the construction of the two films and the way that they're laid out. So that I'll leave for Eugenio to talk about if you want. But that's how Elijah found out and why he became such a fan of the film. And then with Jordan, it was a completely different thing. Jordan and I became friends because I saw Jordan talking about me on various talk shows, and people were sending me clips of Jordan saying Corey Feldman is my muse. And, I think he's amazing. And I try to put Easter eggs in my films from different Corey Feldman films. And I'm going, who is this guy? What is he talking about? What? Like it was nice to hear, but I wasn't aware of any of this, that people actually were even considering me in that way. So I was very flattered and honored. And then I got an invitation to go to the Nope premiere randomly. I thought it was random anyway. And then I later discovered that it came from Jordan. And when I got there, it was during like kind of COVID. It was at the very end of COVID. So people were still wearing masks and we were all kind of nervous to be in the same room. And Jordan was there and I went to say thank you for the invitation once I found out it was him that actually sent it. And he, was wearing a mask and he took his mask off. I said, do you mind if we take our masks off? And I said, go ahead. He took his mask off. He said, can we take a picture? I said, sure. And he said, okay, while we're taking this picture, he says, put your left hand into my left pocket and you'll feel my phone is there. Please grab my phone and put your number in and text yourself my number. And I said, sure. So that started our friendship. And once our friendship began, we immediately were kind of fast friends and started talking film and, our love for different things. And, like two kids, we got into it and started, doing some geek film talk. And after long, he asked me if there was anything that I was particularly proud of or disappointed by in my career. And I said, well, yeah, there's the one film that got away. The one that I'm most proud of that, unfortunately, most people have never seen because it was never released properly in the theaters or anywhere in the US. It never had any kind of United States distribution whatsoever. And that film is called The Birthday. And he says, well, this sounds amazing. How do I see it? And I said, well, you really can't unless you want to come over to my house because there's only one copy of a DVD. And I honestly don't feel comfortable letting that one copy out because if I give it out and I don't get it back, I might never have the film again. Because at that point we only had one print and that one print was kind of collecting dust and getting old in a storage unit somewhere. And it was like, who knows if we're ever going to be able to put it back up on the reel and get another burned copy. So literally, this may be the last copy. And so he said, I understand. I'll come over and I'll watch it with you. And I said, great. So I set up a screening and he watched the film. And after he saw the film, he said, this movie is a cinematic masterpiece. That was his wording. He said, this is a cinematic masterpiece and it deserves to be seen. And especially for you, because this is, under my estimation, and I'm a huge fan of your work, but this is your greatest work I've ever seen. And I think that the world needs to see this performance, Corey. And I said, okay, well, thanks. And, from your lips to God's ears, but there's really no way that this is going to happen. He said, well, you never know what can happen, but I do believe that 2024 is going to be your year. And I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, I just have that feeling. I just feel like it's going to be your year. And so ironically, then I don't know, 6 months later, I do an interview with Spin Magazine and they make the title of it is 2024 Corey Feldman's year. And I'm like, all right, I like the theme of this. It's going in the right direction.
It's all coming together anyway, at this point.
All right. So, but Jordan, just a few months after that screening, he hit me up. Well, him and his producing partner, Ian Cooper, hit me up and they said, hey, we would love to do this film series. We have this idea. We want to do a film series at the Lincoln Center in New York at the Met. And we want to screen a bunch of films as a film series that inspired and helped inspire the film Nope. And a lot of those were Michael Jackson's films, and then a lot of those were my films. And so he kind of put this film series together of like all his favorite things over a week and leading up to the final night. And on the final night, he asked if he could show The Birthday twice as a special premiere in New York. And I was like, well, that would be incredible. He said, can you get me a copy of the film? And of course, that's when I had to call up my dear friend Eugenio, the crazy Spaniard, and say, how do we find this film and how do we get it to, an authentic print to the Lincoln Center? And so he actually got it there. Yeah. And henceforth, we had the screening. Both screenings sold out. And Jordan did his job. He put it out to the world. And as a result of that, people came, distributors came, and we got some offers, and that's why we're here where we are now. So it was very organic and authentic the way it happened. Mm-hmm. And yes, Jordan Peele is a mensch, and the reason why this is happening, he gets all the credit, in my estimation, just because it was his idea and he put it out there. And because he put it out there and kind of got the breath of life back into it, everybody kind of came to the table.
I mean, I thank you for setting the record straight on it first and foremost, because I think you're right that the way it came together is such a serendipitous approach. I think it's worth kind of having everyone understand that this is something that came through people's fandoms and passion for helping people see great movies, right?
Right.
So I'm curious for
it's
you,
the love
Eugenio.
of art. The love of art.
Correct. And for you, Eugenio, what does it feel like for you to kind of have this film that, you had debuted 20 years ago and then doesn't really go anywhere, and then you happen to be alive to be able to see it come back, because so many genre filmmakers have to wait until they're unfortunately gone for their films to catch fire. So what does this feel like for you?
I have to say that it's as surreal as the film itself. I mean, what I'm going through, I feel like I'm this kind of Charlie Kaufman character in a strange kind of biopic. And Jake Johnson is playing my character, and I'm seeing it and he's making this kind of subtle Spanish accent with it's very weird. I have this detachment from myself, and I'm sitting next to Corey Feldman. You have to understand that when I made the film, I was 26 years old, with all the hubris and all the arrogance that is allowed because you're a brat, basically. And I got to make a film with my childhood idol. As simple as that. Leo, I'm going to call him Leo Carmichael, but it's Mikel Alvarenga, the co-writer of The Birthday, and I met at film school in 1995. I was 18 years old, and it was like already felt that I was kind of a vocational film director, whatever that means. As stupid as it could be, you're 18 years old. You're entitled to do stupid things or to say things that sound funny.
Well, or we dream big.
Exactly, we dream big, and then life is, hits you like a train, and
reality smacks you.
Exactly.
And you go, well, maybe I'm not quite as grand as
exactly.
I was.
Maybe. But using that stamina and that arrogance of being a teenager and getting to make my first film when I was 26, shooting it in Barcelona, in a haunted building. That we made all these sets, you know, to make it look like a hotel in Baltimore, set in 1987, shooting in English when my English wasn't. Well, believe me, if you think that this is like something, it wasn't this good 20 years ago, for sure, that's the thing.
But here's the beauty of it. So I walk onto the set day one, and here's me, the jaded Hollywood actor who, you know, comes to the set in this, you know, beat up old morgue, which is what it was. We were shooting in a hospital morgue that was formerly a morgue. Now it's just a big empty cavern of a shell where they have literally the smell of rotting flesh and death throughout the entire place while we were shooting. And I show up there, and here's this crazy 26-year-old kid. And I'm like, you know, whatever, 35, I think, at the time. And I'm like, well, maybe not that old. I'm aging myself. All right, maybe 30. But the point is like, I get there and I'm like, you know, look, man, I really love your ambition and stuff, but you do realize this is a small independent film being shot in Spain. The chances of anybody in America ever seeing it are very low. And he's like, oh, no, you don't understand. We are shooting this in 70 millimeter, anamorphic widescreen. This is going to be as beautiful as a Spielberg film. It's going to look like Kubrick. It's going to be And I'm like, I love his ambition. But you know what? I could see in him immediately that he was a genius. Even though he had these far out ideas of what he wanted to do and the grandiosity of it all, it was like there was a magic in what he was doing because he believed in it so much. And that is really the key to all of this, is belief. So 20 years ago, I said to Eugenio, and he will tell you this is true, mark my words. I said, this is a brilliant film. And this film deserves to be seen and will be seen, even if the powers that be are preventing it from making the rounds right now as it should and getting the reception and the warmth that it should receive. Even though that's not happening the way it's supposed to at this moment, I believe firmly in my heart, at some point, somehow, some way, whether it's because of the resurrection of my career or yours, or both, but one way or another, within the next 20 years, this film will see theaters. I promise you. And I told him that. I said, never lose hope, because it will happen one day. And here we are.
No, it's really, getting back to the Charlie Kaufman character analogy, it's literally, imagine what I just witnessing. This man sitting next to me saying these things. It's insane.
I mean, I hope you both, I know I'm out of my time with you both, but I could go on for hours, it feels like. So what I'd love to say is, one, congratulations, and please enjoy this moment that everyone gets a chance to see this. For those watching this, October 11th, you can go to all your Alamo draft houses and check it out. So please make it a chance to go out there and support these films.
That's the way we'd like to believe it will be.
I'm crossing all my fingers that's still the case, but if anything changes, we'll let folks know. But thank you, gentlemen, for your time, and good luck with the rest of your press.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.